For a parent who's estranged from their adult child, there is just no pain quite like that silence. It's this constant, aching question in the back of your mind. So what this explainer does is offer a really powerful new blueprint for understanding that silence, not as an attack, but as a kind of system error that you actually have the power to fix. We're going to explore how you can shift from feeling like a victim of this situation to becoming the architect of a new, stronger foundation.
And this is the question that just echoes in all the quiet moments, right? Why did they leave? It can spiral into blame and confusion and just this feeling of complete helplessness. But what if the answer isn't what you've been telling yourself?
Okay, here's a really radical way to reframe this. The source material argues that an adult child doesn't cut off contact out of spite or malice. They do it as an act of self-preservation. This distance, it's not meant to be a weapon to hurt you. It's a shield. Think of it like a firewall they've had to build to protect themselves from what feels like emotional harm.
So let's start with Section 1, a painful, silent break. We're going to dive into why that distance feels so much like a personal attack, and how that interpretation, while it feels totally natural, might actually be blocking the path to understanding what's really going on.
And this right here, this gets to the very heart of the disconnect. Look at the left side, the parent's assumption. It often focuses on the child's character. They're difficult, ungrateful, or maybe someone else has turned them against you. But then look at the child's reality on the right. This relationship feels fundamentally unsafe to me. It's like you're both living in two completely different emotional worlds.
Which brings us right into Section 2, the real system error. Because if the problem isn't that you have a bad child, then the issue has to lie somewhere else. It lies in the system, in the actual architecture of the relationship itself.
See, the break doesn't usually happen because of a simple personality clash. It happens because a really fundamental human need, the need to be truly seen and heard and understood by your parent, has gone unfulfilled for a very, very long time. It's the absence of that deep recognition that creates the crack in the foundation that eventually causes the whole thing to collapse.
And this is what creates such a devastating loop. When a parent defaults to blaming the child or their partner or their friends, they are, without even realizing it, slamming the door shut on any chance of repair. Because that act of blaming someone else, well, it's a repeat of the original problem. It's a failure to see your own role in the dynamic, which is the very thing that made the child feel so unseen in the first place.
All right, now for the big turning point in Section 3, the architect's blueprint. This is where we shift from feeling like a victim to becoming the architect. We're going to look at 3 essential tools you need for rebuilding.
The first tool is what we're calling the interface. The idea here is that we don't react to reality itself. We react to our perception of it. So seeing your child as difficult or ungrateful, that's like having a malware filter on your computer. It corrupts all the incoming data. But what if you could change that filter? If you start to see their distance not as a rejection, but as a firewall they build for their own safety, suddenly you regain control. You can change the signal that you're sending out.
Second tool, the coherent nexus. Okay, think of your relationship as an energy field. When you're desperately holding on to the idea of being right, you're basically just pumping static and noise into that field. It creates disharmony, and it feels deeply unsafe to your child. The real work, then, is to find your own internal coherence first, to let go of that need to be right. Only when you can create a calm, stable energy field is there a safe space for them to even think about returning.
And the third tool is all about understanding your role in the system. In this dynamic, the parent is the source of the river, and the child is the stream. Now, the stream always flows from the source. It just can't flow back upstream to a source that's polluted with defensiveness or blame or righteousness. The responsibility for the quality of the water, it always starts at the source.
So, okay, we've got the theory, but how in the world do we put this into practice? In Section 4, we're going to talk about rebuilding the connection and move from these big ideas to some concrete actions.
Let's just compare the old, broken structure to the new one we're trying to build. In the old way, the focus is all on blame, asking, why are you doing this to me? But in the new architecture, the focus is on responsibility. What did I miss? The old emotion is feeling defensive and hurt. The new one is empathetic and observant. And the goal shifts from the need to be right to the desire to restore the relationship. That's the whole game.
So, what are the first actual steps? Step 1, demolish the ego structure. This means acknowledging that even though you feel like you did everything you could, it wasn't what your child needed. Step 2, install a new interface. This means you have to listen to the silence. What is it really telling you about the safety that was missing?
And third, you activate the nexus. You send out love and acceptance with absolutely no strings attached, no demand, no expectation of a reply. That is the ultimate act of emotional maturity.
And all of this brings us to our final section, your ultimate choice. Because at the end of the day, the power to change this dynamic doesn't actually lie with your child, it lies with you.
This old story just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? Inside, you have a wolf. That's your pride, your ego, the need to be right. And you also have a lamb. That's connection, empathy, and love. The entire future of your relationship depends on which one of those you choose to feed.
And so, we end with this. This is the question that cuts through all the noise, all the pain, and all the justifications. Do you love your child more than you love being right? Your answer to that question isn't just a thought. It's the very first step in drawing up a new blueprint. It's the choice between remaining a victim of your past and becoming the architect of a possible future.